Hi, today we are going to talk about climate change anxiety on indigenous population from the perspective of a community psychology. Climate change anxiety, which is interchangeable with eco-anxiety, is not considered as a diagnosable condition in the DSM-5. Instead, it is the normal psychological response to the existential threats of the changing planet. However, major environmental threats, including wildfire, hurricanes, rising sea levels, and floods, could lead to negative psychological consequences on individuals and their community. These symptoms could manifest as stress, anxiety, depression, PTSD, and increase in interpersonal aggression, etc. A study conducted in 2020 and found that of the 2,000 Americans, 60% were very worried about the current global climate, and 25% felt so much of eco-anxiety. Eco-anxiety does not affect everyone equally. In fact, it tends to be more prevalent among people who are more aware about the protection of the environment. For the indigenous population, they have a profound spirit connected to the land. They claim that the land is their mother. People's livelihood are directly tied to the natural environment. For the etiology of climate change anxiety, there's a biopsychosocial model to show that populations with pre-existing chronic health conditions are triple the risk of any cause mortality, as well as physical illness, and genetic vulnerabilities are the contributed as the biological factor. While being a female might consider as an overlapping factor for social and biological, as this might due to worrying about their future generation, especially when they're considering giving birth to a baby. And low socio-economic status are particularly vulnerable to the health impacts of climate change and have a potential low capacity to adapt. For another overlapping factors between geographical area and culture, climate change may affect mental health directly by exposing people to psychological trauma, including extreme heat exposure, and also by destroying landscapes, which diminish the sense of belonging that people derive from their connectedness to the land. And for psychological factor, perceived lack of control is being seen as the reality of climate change results in feeling of powerlessness to improve the situation, leaving them with an unresolved sense of loss, helplessness, and frustration. Anxiety sensitivity. It's clear that eco-anxiety is not felt only by people with trait anxiety, but natural anxiety sensitivity can easily strengthen eco-anxiety. The above are all the factors that are possible contributors to eco-anxiety within the indigenous community. And a community psychologist can address these factors and tackle eco-anxiety as they strive to promote healthy and empowered groups and community. They use concepts and knowledge from a variety of disciplines such as social, economic, ecological, environmental, and cross-cultural psychology to help people all around the globe. They are devoted to understanding and addressing social issues. By contributing to the problem, community psychologists focus both on first-hand change, such as through fostering changes in individuals, in order to prevent or tackle a community problem, and for second-hand change, such as changing social systems, in order to promote community well-being. Some community psychologists implement action-driven community-based programs with specific purpose to create real-world solutions. Empowerment and social justice are all core values of community-based psychology. Research on eco-anxiety is in its very early stage, but community psychologists can use natural-based intervention, which is a holistic and strength-based approach that aims to engage people in nature-based experience to construct meaning and embed resilience during the interaction with nature and the land. Nature-based intervention comprise of the traditional medical rehabilitation methods, but it involves three key elements, including natural surroundings, a social context, and a meaningful activities held in a group. It has been used for stress-related disorder, which are integrated into a natural context. A research conducted with diverse indigenous communities and found that community and togetherness gained by sharing the experience with people in similar situations, as well as a sense of mutual nurturing, tend to improve resilience from the contact with nature and strengthen cultural identity and belonging. According to APA, there haven't been any clinical studies of intervention, specifically targeting climate-related mental health concerns. However, indigenous perspective of health is that impaired health of the nature landscape could have negative impacts on their mental and physical health. Research evidence also demonstrates that the connection with nature experience from nature-based intervention can result in decreased anxiety, aggression, and depression. Therefore, this intervention is likely to addressing eco-anxiety in indigenous. It is also important for community psychologists to considering incorporating climate change adaptive capacity into policy. Adaptive capacity is defined not only by a community's capacity, but also their opportunity, motivation, and preferences to adapt. Policy which encourage homeland movement could increase adaptive capacity. Participants were thus willing to consider moving away from current community location if the climate became severe, but only as part of the continued movement to end from homelands. This desire for movement between seasons and different climate events is important in the context of the current debate about restricting government support for encouraging increase in global engagement. As climate initiatives have begun to shift from an emphasis on global system to more focused studies on the local implications, it has become increasingly open to the ideas that indigenous have valuable information about local impacts, vulnerabilities, and adaptation options as their ability to predict and interpret environmental change using traditional knowledge that has been vital to their livelihood and survival. It has also been the foundation for the development of social, political, and governance structures that should inform decision-making in regards to adaptive capacity. For encouragement and empowerment, climate change is a complex global issue. It's not just radically affecting ecological system and causing other environmental impacts, but also influencing economic systems, infrastructures. Increasing funding from the government would allow a greater self-determinance, empowerment, and independence for the community as further mining activities, recreational fishing, and developments could take place. To conclude, the toll of climate change has a great impact on the indigenous community due to their profound connection to the land. Thus, it's vital for community psychologists to use concepts and knowledge from a variety of disciplines to address factors contribute to climate change and anxiety within the indigenous community in order to promote better community well-being. Thank you.